Yes, indeed. We've got Major General Umahi joining us this morning, as you've seen there. Former GOC 81 Div, also former directing staff in Command and Staff College, National Defense College, commanding officer 72 Airborne Battalion, commanding Army Task Group Operation Restore Hope. He's had two active tours for ECOMOG operations. Good morning, sir, and thank you for joining us today on the program. Well, at the moment, huge concerns about security all over the country. We just listened to a debate in the Senate. The House of Reps eventually had theirs as well about how to proceed concerning the challenges facing us regarding security. You've heard a lot of all of this. What's your impression of how we're either debating this or the plans we have for it?
Well, thank you very much for inviting me to this program. It is rather very disturbing that we have gotten to this level of insecurity in Nigeria. I think that this nation is not giving the security situation the shot it deserves. Like someone suggested, Nigeria should have entered into a state of emergency to address insecurity in this country. But what you hear sometimes is very disturbing. Rather than address insecurity for all that it is worth, people tend to politicize it. People tend to turn it to a religious issue. If a particular nationality has turned insecurity into business, a spade should be called a spade. It should not be mixed up with politics. It should not be mixed up with religion. What is fair is fair. It is fair for the government of the Federation to look straight in the eyes of security and call it what it deserves to be called and address it the way it's supposed to be addressed.
Can we absorb security agencies of anything here, because they're professionals? They're supposed to carry out their jobs in the best professional way as they have been trained. But from what you're seeing, is that the case?
Well, it is not right to just single out the security agencies and blame them, though it is their responsibility. But the truth is that where there is national emergency on a particular subject, all the resources of the nation are diverted towards solving that problem. If Nigeria has seen insecurity as a national emergency, every sector of this nation, including individuals, will be involved. It's not security agencies alone. Security agencies could be working and they could be sabotaged. And that is what I see happening in this security situation in this nation. Some people that see this thing as a religious issue, they walk along their religious beliefs. I think they sabotage the efforts of the security agencies. Some people, for political gains, will want to sabotage the efforts of the security agencies. Some people, for what they are making illegally out of this insecurity situation in this nation, they want to sabotage the efforts of the security agencies. So we should look at this whole thing holistically, not just single out security agencies as if the security agencies can on their own alone solve the insecurity situation in Nigeria. No, it is not so. Even an individual could make a difference. It took an old woman sitting in her house, looking out through the window, to saw that Umahi was being created and taken out of his house, and she reported. So it will take every Nigerian to put in effort to solve this insecurity situation in this nation. Security is for everybody. Let's not single out security agencies alone and in a blame game.
General, looking at it from the angle that you have just taken it now, it is interesting to say that indeed there are political players, just as you are saying, and a good number of people have said that as well. But the reason we're looking at the angle of the security agencies is because of the tasks they have of, number one, preventing insecurity and then subsequently fighting the insecurity. It is part of the functions of the security agencies at various levels to prevent the insecurity challenges by knowing ahead of time through intelligence that these things are happening and consequently do whatever they can to nip it in the bud before it becomes a full-blown security challenge as we have on our hands now. So in terms of preventing insecurity, would you say that we have done well?
No, I will not say that we have done well. We have the potentials. We have the capacity to do better. We have not done all we are supposed to do. Truth be told, the security agencies have a role to play. But there is, in every military operation, there is what is called force multiplier. When the entire nation is committed to solving insecurity problem, it becomes a force multiplier for the security agencies. It's a force multiplier because they could get intelligence from any source. A call giving information about adversaries could make a difference in an entire operation. Just one call. And also a call from the negative side, giving information to the adversaries, could make a whole lot of difference on the side of our security agencies. Our security agencies, because the nation is balkanized, the nation is divided, they have been made, they have been in danger. They're exposed to a lot of danger. When all of us are not committed to solving the insecurity problem in Nigeria, we have, directly or indirectly, exposing our security agencies to danger. And of course, like it is known to everybody, we have lost so many gallant men and women. So I say again, the security agencies could put their acts right. The security agencies could come up with workable concepts of operations. The security agencies could tidy themselves up and come up with strategies, with campaigns that can win this war. But without getting support from this nation, from the executive, from the legislative, from the judiciary, it can't work. For instance, imagine where some people are arrested for insecurity activities and are taken to court, and there is a revolving door. They just enter through one end and they get out through the other end. How can that not be a frustrating factor for the security agencies? Imagine where some operation has been planned and someone, even within the military or within the security agencies, because of religious persuasion, carries phone and call adversaries. And then his colleagues move into the bush and they are slaughtered. I mean, all these contradictions in this country, we need to address them so that we can have peace in Nigeria. We have the security agencies that are capable of giving Nigeria peace, but the sabotage is beyond measure.
Who then is sabotaging the efforts of security agencies, General?
Well, you know, it's not possible to begin to mention names. But when you hear some contrary vibrations, for instance, if Mayeti Allah can rise up and say that, yes, this attack in so and so place was done by them, and that worse will be coming, and no arrest was made, no no one charged to court. What do you think? It's like giving them the right to do whatsoever they like. And if they are allowed, if they are treated that way, I tell you, some other groups across the nations, across the length and breadth of the nation, could also assume that they also have the privilege to take action because Mayeti Allah is allowed that privilege. And that is where confusion comes in. That is where trouble comes in. That is where insecurity is amplified. I am saying specifically that we should, as a nation, call a spade a spade. If A is responsible for any insecurity issue, that A, irrespective of where he comes from, irrespective of whom he is, must be dealt with. That's what I am saying. We have had across time and season of people who speak anyhow, who give directives anyhow. These people must leave. These people must, and nothing is done by the appropriate agencies. I mean, that is a signal of insecurity. That's a signal of freedom to act the way you want. And I think that is compromising the security of this nation.
So essentially, rather than seeing this as one ethnicity against the other, one religion against the other, this is basically Nigerians versus crime. And I think largely you have touched on that. But also listening to some of the submissions at the National Assembly yesterday, they dealt or really looked at the issue of security in the country. You'll hear some of them saying or reiterating what has been said about some foreigners being responsible for these attacks, state of insecurity in the country. There's an international conspiracy at work here. And it really begs the question, how is it that foreigners from outside of the country can comfortably cause this much mayhem, not just over a few days, over months, and still seem to be getting away with it?
I think it's a failure of governance. It's a failure of governance. The first need of man is security. Therefore, any group of people entrusted, that we have entrusted our rights of self-protection to, those people should do everything possible to protect Nigerians. That is their primary task. It is wrong to open our borders to vandals. It is wrong to blame foreigners for invading this nation, and yet nothing is done about it. It is most unimaginable that you know that such foreigners armed are in forest reserves, and the security agencies have not received marching order to enter into all the forests and get rid of the criminals. 10 years ago, nobody called Fulanis, associated Fulanis with criminality. No, nobody associated them with criminality. Criminality was just limited to cattle rustling, and that's where it ended. But if people are calling Fulani today, it's not all Fulanis that are contributing to insecurity in Nigeria. It's the bad ones. The good ones are so wonderful, so warm, can relate with across the sections of this nation. But these evil ones that came from outside the shores of this nation, they are the ones that are responsible for insecurity in most parts of this nation. And I dare say that the government should give marching order to security agencies to move into the forest and flush them out. Without that, there will be no peace in this nation. And if it is not done, it means that the government is not committed to giving this nation the security it deserves. That's my position.
You know, that sounds simple enough, give a marching order, and you wonder just how difficult can that be. But you've also had to lead the Southeast Security Committee, and of course, you've had those challenges in the Southeast with different calls by different people that this is how it should be done. But there's been a lot of talk about political will, which might tie back to what you said about the government giving the security agencies a marching order. So from your end, from the trends you have seen maybe in your region, and putting into consideration, you know, the northern governors also saying that, well, there should be an end to open grazing and all that. Do you think we're really heading in the right direction to getting a solution to this?
Yes, I congratulate the northern governors. Based on that their communique, based on that their resolution, I think they should receive standing ovation from every Nigerian. We know the source of insecurity, and they are making bold to address that source. Look, let me tell you the contradictions of this nation. Number one, the sitting government said that they want to diversify our economy, making agriculture the primary source of a livelihood for this nation. And environmentally, it is doable. But then, that policy, as laudable as it is, you should tie it with ranching so that cows are not let loose into the farms that people are on their own cultivating. So give muzzle to this policy of diversification of our economy. They are farming to give muzzle, to give strength to this policy. So it is a contradiction for cows to be let loose to destroy the farms, agriculture in that sector that backs up the policy of the government. It's a contradiction. There is no place in the world today that people roam the bush with cows. What is more economical? What is technologically viable? What is viable for security of this nation is to ranch, remove cows from roaming about and save the lives and the future of this nation by mopping up these small boys, these young people that follow these headers, give them education. Otherwise, they become a thorn in the flesh of Nigeria in the future. If you don't educate them, if you don't expose them to what they are supposed to enjoy.
Okay. Well, General, pardon me to jump in and bring this up, because, I mean, you've said the northern governors have called it. But there are dissenting voices, and they've been for a while, in the Southeast about what the governors are doing about coming up with a security situation or outfit or organization, as different regions have done. So is it that the Southeast governors are playing politics with security? Because you were reported to have said your security committee has provided the framework, but it looks as if that's where it all ends, the framework.
Well, from the information available to me, I think the governors will soon roll out a security outfit. I believe governors in the Southeast will soon roll out one. I remember that they were the first to come up with joint security efforts in August 31st, 2019. But somehow, I do not understand the technicalities that stop them from concluding that particular plan. But be that as it may, I think they are concluding efforts. From the information available. I think they have banned open grazing because it is destroying farms and resources. And they are also trying to do something about the joint security infrastructure. But when, I'm not in a position to say, but be that as it may, I think that each of the states have utilized their security framework as it is today to give the Southeast and their states specifically the most secure zone in this nation. Southeast is the most secure geographical zone in this country today. It's incontestable. Efforts have been put in towards achieving that. It did not come, it did not fall down just like that. The governors put in efforts to achieve this particular situation, security situation in the Southeast. So, in as much as it is desirable for this to be formed, but I want to say that based on the security situation in Southeast, the governors have done well in area of security.
Okay, General,
of just God,
just quickly as we
yes.
wind down on this conversation. So while there's no date, as it were, for that security network or outfit, you may have seen videos online of the Eastern Security Network, and it seems as though that group is also catching some traction in the Southeast. What is the position of your committee and, by extension, the leaders in the Southeast regarding the ESN?
ESN is an illegal contraption. There is no security outfit that can work without the constitutionally established authority. There is none. Anything outside of constitutional arrangements, anything outside of the legally political, constitutionally established institutions is illegal. As far as I'm concerned, that network, security network, is nothing but shrouded in insecurity. It's insecurity in itself. So we must be worried that an illegal outfit is coming up with what they call security outfit. No. Dog must give birth. A snake must give birth to something that has a long tail. So it is not comfortable for whatever they call themselves to exist in the Southeast. They are not accepted, they are not recognized, they are not used by the governments of the day in the 5 states of the Southeast. Therefore, as far as I'm concerned, that security agency, ESN, is an illegal contraption.
All right, Major General Obi Umahi, thank you very much indeed for your perspectives this morning.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, back in a moment. Stay with us.